Hi, welcome. I'm Tom, your host, and this is the DROPCAST Movie Poster Podcast Interview Edition. Today, I will talk to an artist I really admire and that I got to know a little bit late. But Mr. Kevin Tong, everybody. So he made a lot of very cool movie posters for all your favorite franchises, and he's been in the game so long. And today, we will take a closer look behind the scenes and what Kevin likes to do when he's not drawing. So stay tuned and head over to our Instagram profile at DropMacOfficial or check us out on the YouTube video version, and don't forget to smash that like button. So now let's get started. Welcome, Kevin. How you doing, man?
Hey, doing great. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm gonna be straight with the people out there. This is a second take on something here, and because I messed up on my end, so the speed round is gonna be it's gonna come again. But we have one with just Kevin's sound and no questions on my end, but I want to spare you that, people, but you'll get a good fine new speed round with new things that Kevin had heard before, but maybe one or two that he has, so he can change his answer now. Okay, are you ready, Kevin?
Yes.
Alrighty, okay. First one is color.
Oh man, I thought of brown again. I said brown the first time, and I was like, "Don't think of brown."
Exactly. I thought you were gonna say something different. Now I gave you the chance.
I was trying to. I was trying to.
Okay, let's move on. Who's your favorite Avenger?
Probably Iron Man.
All right. What is your favorite comic book?
It's been a while since I've read comics. Probably Batman Year One.
All right. Your favorite animal?
Cats.
All right. Portrait or landscape?
Portrait or landscape?
Mm-hmm.
Landscape.
All right. Do you even have a lot of landscape ones?
No, because they're hard to take to like events, like the horizontal format.
Okay.
And for like no one ever wants them. Like the clients don't hire for them, and
Okay.
it's just weird when you have like mostly portraits, and then you all of a sudden have a landscape. So I generally avoid them, but I love doing them.
Okay.
I wish more people would want them.
Yeah, I mean, I'll love a good landscape. I'll take it.
I'll get on one someday.
All right, Kevin.
I have some in mind, probably for my own art prints, though. I don't think any movie people ever want them.
I mean, since we're gonna touch on that. It's a speed run. Let's get back to the speed here.
Oh yeah. Speed. Back to speed.
What's your favorite director?
Kurosawa.
Tool.
My favorite tool?
Or Tool, but
like a tool?
Yeah, you can use whatever.
Vice grips. I love vice grips, man. Once you lock those down, they never let go.
Okay. Favorite book?
Oh man. Probably The Pale Fire by Viktor Nabokov.
Okay, yeah. Samurai or Ninja?
Ninja.
Okay, great. I want you to hold up the Ninja side because a lot of people say Samurai. Last but not least, favorite food? Tacos. For breakfast or every time of the day?
Oh man, in Austin we got breakfast tacos. I could eat tacos for every meal.
That's a good choice. But did you have a kebab before?
To have a
A
what?
kebab? Like I don't know. It's like this Turkish food comes like in a.
Oh, kebabs. Yeah. Yeah, those are delicious too. I love kebabs. Yeah.
That's great. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. I mean, you told me earlier that's why I know that. You've been to Berlin. Have you had some German kebab?
No, they didn't have like any of the places we went to. They all only had meat kebabs.
Oh, okay.
So
You're not a meat
I don't.
eater.
Yeah, I don't like to eat meat. So they looked really
But
good,
they
but
usually
unfortunately they didn't have a vegetable one.
usually they give you the choice though, like to leave out the meat. I mean, it's still a kebab though, but
They were being cooked, like, because you could see them. They were being cooked right next to the meat one, so the juices were
oh, okay, yeah,
splashing
the
on them.
grease, yeah.
And yeah,
Got you.
they had vegetable ones, but they're in the same thing as like the meat
Got it.
ones stuff. And I don't know why I said Victor Nabokov. I meant Vladimir Nabokov, in case anyone was interested in checking it
Yeah,
out.
yeah. See, I didn't correct you there because I just know the last name. I wouldn't have known the first name.
Oh yeah, I just didn't want someone to be looking for the author and not be able to find it.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. So people, yeah, make sure you read that book. Yeah, so we are finished with the speed round now, and we would get into the posters that I really love that you've talked about, and that are going to be three incredible ones that I really enjoy, and one of them is behind me. So you already get a glimpse on that. But like the first poster we're going to talk about is a very important one, your latest poster, the Dersu Uzala series. For the people here to see, we have a Japanese title version, which is a variant, and then we have the art print variant without the title treatment. I think it's called was it Trapper, the Trapper, or something like that.
Yes, the Trapper Sunrise.
The Trapper Sunrise, and then there's one that popped up just minutes ago before I started this interview, which is the Russian title version. I have asked in the comments, but nobody revealed that yet. So that was interesting to see. But yeah, how did this come about? And Dersu Uzala is, like, I think, an underrated title of Kurosawa.
Oh yeah.
Let's hear about it.
Man. Well, the first time I started working with James, or Black Dragon Press, he approached me about doing Ron, which is another excellent Kurosawa film.
Yeah,
and
we
so,
will talk about that next. So just
okay, sorry to jump the gun, but yeah, and I just had a lot of fun doing it, and it did really well, and so he just said, "Do you want to just keep doing Kurosawa films?" And I was like, "Okay." But Ron did really well, so I just wanted to make sure that we were doing Dersu Uzala justice. And honestly, I hadn't even heard of the film until he mentioned it. James, James's like movie knowledge is very specific and idiosyncratic. He knows some weird stuff. But anyway.
I was, by the way, I was just on a podcast from a couple of friends, and they allow you to like bring movies, like which you choose, and review them with them on the podcast. And that's the one I picked. I brought Dersu Uzala and talked about it. And then, I mean, this movie means a lot to me since I'm a big Star Wars fan, and it has so many influences on Star Wars, which is amazing. And yeah.
I mean, like, Kurosawa's work in general, has such a huge influence on Star Wars. Like, obviously everyone says Hidden Fortress, but you could see it in a lot of other of his films too. But yeah, so that was like, and it just took a long time to get the poster going because, there's so many themes in Dersu Uzala. Like, they're all being explored very naturally. Like, no one turns to the camera and gives a speech about what the theme is. They just kind of explore it in a very natural way. And so the posters, normally I just will be like, all right, well, it'll be like a collage of this and that. And it just didn't feel like it was honest to the movie. So there was like a whole bunch of different posters that were made before finally it was like a block of wood. I just kept taking stuff away, whittling it down. I was like, what's the most powerful image that could sum up like the core of the film? And it's weird, but it took a long time to get to the simple idea rather than to get away from the big idea. Mhm.
Okay, and what in terms of colors? Because like the first association with it was like when I see it for the first. I mean, the tiger is very like not obvious, but it's like important to the movie. And but looking at it, you have when you look at the regular version with the American title, it has like this kind of warm color feeling like fall or something like that, and like then you have in this contrast with the blue version, which gives me this winter vibe that comes through when they are like in this isolated tundra.
Mhm. Well, even in the previous poster run, like the colors were chosen, and the colors in the regular and variant were chosen because in Kurosawa films, there's always like he's usually shooting. There's always gorgeous shots of outside,
Hmm.
and there's always like and when they're outside, there's always like wind blowing, dust, fires, snow, just and stuff. It's like this constant reminder that even though these like epic, like gargantuan struggles between like the powers of humans is happening, it's all very small compared to nature. So
Mm.
we wanted to just remind like people that like nature is the real like star of the show in Kurosawa films. Like
Yeah.
that's kind of the take I get at least.
It's an incredible cinematic. I
Yeah.
had a lot of like Tatooine moments on there, even though when they were like in this icy tundra, and then obviously you have the Hoth moment and stuff like that. So it's like really interesting to see those reflections through, and obviously Dersu being Yoda, and
Yeah.
that's like a really cool thing to look at looking at this movie from the Star Wars perspective, which is really interesting. Yeah, so great poster. I can't wait to get mine. Mine's on the way already. So
Oh,
there's
thank
going to
you.
be an unboxing soon. I got the Japanese variant, and yeah, so I would have gotten the Russian if I would have known,
Oh.
because I took Russian in school. So that's like the fun part. And
Oh man.
for,
Well, you said there were four versions. There's actually five.
there's five. Okay.
I haven't revealed my art print yet. I guess I'm doing it here.
Oh, there you go.
Uh, James has the art print of the Russian version that he's
Hmm.
selling on his site, 18 by 24, called the Trapper Sunrise.
Yeah.
I have an art print of the regular version called the Trapper Sunset
Ah,
that I was
okay.
just gonna sell on my site. So
That's awesome.
um, yeah.
Five versions. I mean, there's a lot of dirt to go around for the people to find out about this movie. And don't be fooled. It's a very different, interesting movie. And if you want to see some great cinematography and nature, then that's definitely a must see. Because I think there's some crazy like some crazy recording they did. Like I think they actually filmed in a snowstorm. So
Oh yeah.
it's
Like
totally crazy.
like when I read more about like his like behind the scenes and stuff, I didn't know that that Kurosawa like was kind of exiled from Japan.
Yeah.
Like he couldn't get funding because I think his movies weren't doing well,
Yeah, the
and they
last
thought that
one, even though it
yeah
was Oscar nominated, it didn't perform as good as they thought. Yeah.
they were getting rave reviews. Yeah, it just wasn't making money, and I think they were accusing him of becoming like westernized or something.
Hmm.
I don't know, but he kind of got kicked out of his own country, and I didn't even know that. He was really depressed. That was a bad time
Yeah.
for him, like
Yeah, and
and he managed to make this film while all that was happening.
they actually filmed it in Soviet Russia, and which
Yeah.
is like really crazy because like he had to go there with a translator, and because nobody was speaking Japanese, the whole movie is in Russian or some sort of dialect. And this is really interesting. So like making a movie where nobody on set basically understands you, and like turning out a great piece of movie.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, mind blown right there.
Mm,
What
yeah.
else? I just touched upon it, and yeah, I want to talk about your Ron piece. There are how many versions are there? Only two, or are there any secret ones I don't know about?
Just two of that one.
And yeah, how did this happen? This was your you mentioned it was your first foray with Black Dragon Press and James.
Yeah, actually, it was weird because I was going through my spam folder to look for something else, and then I found his email, and it had been sent like a month ago. This was like years ago. And so I dug it out of my spam and I responded, and he said, "Oh man, I'm so glad you want to do it. I thought that you were ignoring me." And I was like, "No, this sounds great. I've always wanted to work with you because, he puts out great stuff. Like,
Yeah,
and it's not stuff that's guaranteed to make money, but it's always artistic and intelligent."
Yeah, I love that too. I love that part, like having a different perspective. I mean,
Yeah.
I love Star Wars, and there are going to be many more Star Wars posters, but also getting Durstu Uzala as a title, which is like a movie like to my heart, and also with Ron, getting those prints is just incredible.
So, yeah, and then we just started working and really closely on it. Because he's not just like, a lot of times these poster guys or poster people you work with, they're on the business side and they might know the movies, but they're not like in it deep. Whereas he's like understanding it in different ways, so I can really talk to him and bounce things back and forth, unlike other people I've worked with, where they understand the business side of it or the technical side of posters, but he's just like, what are the themes? What was the director trying to say? How would this image reflect that? So we hit it off really well. Hey, quiet. I have a cat in here. Sorry.
People love pets, by the way. So what's the cat's name?
I have two cats. This cat's name is Sammy. The other one's Heisenberg.
Oh, okay. Are they related in some sort of sense?
No. Nope.
Fair enough.
But yeah, so it's weird because I just was going through my spam folder for no reason, and if I hadn't found that, I might not have become such good friends and put out such great work with James.
That's great. Yeah, love to hear that. So, are there going to be more of Kurosawa films with Black Dragon Press in the future?
That's what we've been talking about. We don't have anything on the horizon right now. It's really tricky because Kurosawa didn't have a relationship with one studio. He worked with many different studios. So just because you have one film doesn't mean you're going to have like another one. Like Dursu Uzala and Ron were two different studios, for example. And so he's working on seeing which ones he can get.
Yeah, I would love to see Rashomon and Hidden Fortress.
That'd be cool. I'm fingers crossed. I don't know, but yeah. I want to do Yojimbo.
Oh yeah, that would be awesome as well.
I want to do them all. I'm saying, but like the next one would be kind of fun, just to go in a different direction.
Can I get a subscription then?
Yep, sign up.
Okay. Alrighty, and last but not least, I want to talk about your Star Wars prints, the droid ones, obviously. C-3PO hanging in the back behind me, and still needing R2. And how did this idea come about?
A long time ago, before I did either of those posters, I did these exploded diagram posters of an iPhone and an iMac, and they look like Leonardo da Vinci sketchbooks, like, so I drew them like all like pencil and stuff like that, and so when Mondo was doing their Star Wars series, they came across that and they thought that would be like a kind of cool thing to do with the droids, and so I did that. And the technical aspect of that I learned from doing toys. I used to work in for toy companies, and I was designing the instruction manuals, and it would show how to assemble the toy, how to put in the battery packs. So I was doing those really technical stuff, and I never would have thought that because the job was so lame, in my mind, that I never thought it would have translated to anything as cool as Star Wars.
Yeah, but there you go. putting that out. But by the way, a good friend of mine, Nada Makhtari, she is an artist from London, and she studies architecture actually, and she just recently did, like, for herself, she did like a 3D looking version for the Slave One, with like with the gyro seats and everything, and she put that in a poster from different dimensions, and she took like the idea, like the concept of it from your artwork, and she's like, she loves those pieces.
That's cool. That's cool.
And I'm just waiting for, like, I don't know, Bottleneck, or I think Bottleneck has a license, and I think that would be amazing if they would pick it up, because it looks really, really good. It's on our profile, but I can show you later, and sure. it looks really good.
Cool, yeah.
We're finished with the posters, and I want to get to know you a little bit better. So how about you tell us, how did you start out? Where did you learn your skills? Were you already very into art when you were a high school student? How was that?
In high school, I was that kid that was always drawing on binder paper, but I don't know that I ever thought it was going to be my career. I thought maybe I would become like a scientist or like an engineer or something. But I went to school, and I just felt like art was a better fit for me. So I went to California State University, Long Beach, where I studied illustration. Oh, that's right. You used to live there, right?
I used to. I told it earlier in our first session, and we're acting all excited now, but we all know the information. But yeah, we actually lived on the same street, on Zimino Avenue in Long Beach, which is crazy. And we talked about Dexter, because Dexter was filmed there, and other stuff, and we talked about the cool places around. It was good times in Long Beach. I can tell that.
Yeah.
By the way, did you live your whole college time on Zimino, or?
No, I only lived there for a short time, because I used to live in Seal Beach for half my college time, and then I lived near the traffic circle. Well, actually, I guess I lived near Zimino. I used to live near PCH and Zimino. Yeah. And then I lived actually on Zimino for a short time when I was subletting the master bedroom with my friend whose girlfriend was in London at the time. And yeah, it was pretty cool.
Pretty cool times. Yeah, I have a fond memory of that. We always went, like, a friend of mine, he was a bartender at was it an Irish pub?
Was it like McClarney's or whatever?
Could be. It was downtown, I think. But I don't remember the street. But the only thing I remember was they had this taco stand. Like, this one guy, like early in the morning hours, it was always this taco guy with like a $1 tacos out there. That was really good, because, like, I mean, you love tacos, so.
Yeah. You love kebabs. Did you ever go to that Mediterranean restaurant on 2nd Street that was really good, Open Sesame?
I can't recall if I did, but I actually don't remember. But is it an Arabic restaurant, or?
It was like Lebanese.
Okay.
Yeah. They always had like the big like spit with the meat, and they were always making kebabs and stuff, and like gyros and stuff like that.
Yeah, good. I think it was like an early, like when I was there, it was like 2009, 2010, and it was like the early days where there were not many places actually having like the real stuff like we had here for years, and it's like America had to get used to that.
Took some time,
but now you found out falafel and all that stuff is always really good.
Oh yeah, it's like my favorite kind of food.
No, you said tacos.
Other than tacos. Other than tacos.
Which tacos are better, Californian tacos or Texas tacos?
Oh, they're so different. I wish there's because California tacos are like, just the ingredients are so fresh, and they use a lot of fresh ingredients. Whereas, but then Texas tacos are like just a whole other species. It's really hard to compare. I guess I've got settled into Texas tacos, so I'm gonna go Texas, so people don't rise up against me.
But by the way, did you grow up in California, or where?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I grew up in California, Northern California first, and then I went to Southern California to go to college at Cal State Long Beach.
Mm-hmm.
And then 7 or 8 years ago, I moved to Texas.
Ah,
Hmm.
okay, okay. For was it
Yeah.
was it for like work purposes, or like why did you move there?
I mean, I just lived in California my whole life,
Mm-hmm.
and I just wanted to just something else to change, just
Okay.
out, nothing happened. I just was like, I just want to live somewhere else and see what that's like.
Mm-hmm.
And Texas was the only place where I actually like had friends and knew people.
Ah,
So,
okay, okay.
yeah. Mhm.
I see. And how did you start out with the poster world? I mean, we know where you studied, but how did you get into the poster gigs?
Well, at Cal State Long Beach, they have a really great program that's incredibly underrated, art program. One of my teachers was like really into like gig posters, and he was always bringing in like Jay Ryan's like art books. He did gig posters. He
Mm-hmm.
does gig posters and stuff. And so and I started going to the website gigposters.com, and just I would spend all night long just wow, going through them.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started just going to events like Comic-Con and meeting poster artists, but and then I just kind of figured out how to get in. I just started emailing the bands and showing them my portfolio, and I guess started getting some work, and that led to more work. Mm.
That's always good. The snowball effect.
Yeah, well, because like the bands are like one person might manage like 5 or 10 different bands.
Yeah.
So once you do work for one, then they might be like, oh, I've also managing this band. Do you want to do posters for them too?
Mm-hmm. But
Yeah.
what is your favorite band that you would like to work with in the future? Is there anything you like want to say? Oh man, I want to.
Oh, I would do anything to be able to do a poster for Neutral Milk Hotel. I love their music
What
and
is
such
that?
great imagery for
I
that.
need some more information on that.
Uh, just think of like just really weird, like um, I don't know. They get compared to the Decemberists a lot, but I don't think they're anything like the Decemberists. They're way better for one thing. But it's hard to. A lot of the lyrics are inspired by Anne Frank in World War II,
Okay.
um, like the Holocaust and stuff. But it's a modern band. Um,
Hmm.
and yeah, the lead singer is like really like weird and kind of obscure. Like no one knows a whole lot about him and stuff.
Interesting.
Anyway, good stuff. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I will make sure to tag them if they have Instagram, and you know, so maybe you get a gig.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see. Fingers are crossed. And what was your first foray into the movie poster world? Is there something that the first thing you worked on?
Probably the first serious movie thing I did was probably the R2d2 poster.
That was the first one. Gee.
The first major one. I did some stuff that was like probably not official or whatever, or for galleries. But like the first like official legit movie poster was probably that R2d2. Yeah,
Mm. And
it's a long time ago.
can you remember what's like actually like is there a movie poster you did maybe for yourself that was like the first one that started it out?
It's been so long. Um,
If you don't have it, you don't
I
have
think
it.
I think the first thing I drew that was like for a movie might have been for Gallery 1988.
Hmm.
But those are like tributes. They're
Yeah,
not
I know, I know.
like licensed. Yeah. So I honestly can't remember. Like it was a long time ago.
Okay,
Mm.
totally fine. Maybe if it pops into your head, just scream it out.
I mean, maybe I just don't want you to find it because it's so embarrassing.
Come on, I don't believe that.
No, I think it was like Edward Scissorhands or something.
I mean,
I'm not sure.
that's a cool property.
Yeah, but I just think the thing I did for it was kind of cheesy.
I mean, it's your first try. I mean, it maybe probably the art is going to be good, but maybe not the concept as evolved as it is now.
Yeah, I'd done lots of posters for bands up until that point, and I was doing stuff for like authors like Chuck Palahniuk,
Hmm.
and I was doing like book posters. So, I like it didn't. Oh, you know what? The first thing I did actually was before the Star Wars thing. Now I remember what it was.
Hmm.
It was actually official. It was for Lost, the TV show.
Oh, okay, yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, there was a 19, Gallery 1988 had this series that was incredibly popular where they did Lost posters and they were selling out and stuff like that.
Damn,
And I did one of the posters. Yeah.
that was the
Hmm.
show back then.
That was the show. That was it. Hmm.
Um, what was your favorite Lost character? And are you satisfied
Oh,
with the ending?
Sawyer's. Oh, I love Sawyer, man. Sawyer's the best. Like the ending, I just think they just got it just expanded so much, and the expectation was so high. I don't know how you were ever gonna please everyone.
Hmm.
I kind of prefer the no ending, like The Sopranos, just like just click it off, and then at the end of season 5, when she was like hitting Juliet was hitting the bomb with that thing. If it just went to white and then they never got back to it, I think that would have been a much more
Yeah.
satisfactory ending. Like no ending is better than a bad ending. I'm not saying it's bad, but most people didn't feel
Yeah.
satisfied by it.
I mean, it's
Mhm.
hard to satisfy people. If like I don't know if those hit shows, it's always like
Yeah.
to satisfy
What are you
all
gonna
the
do?
people and stuff like that. But yeah, since I'm doing a lot of movie reviews as well on the channel and TV shows as also, I was wondering what was the last movie or TV show that you saw?
Uh, the last one I saw and finished was The Irishman.
Hmm.
That was amazing. Oh man.
You were that
I don't
satisfied with
know.
it? I don't know, man.
I guess like I
I
just
was
I
okay
guess
on it.
I loved it, man, because like first off, anything with Joe Pesci in it is awesome,
He
and
was
he was
good.
really good.
He was good.
But I kind of view it as like, it's like a part of Martin Scorsese's like like journey as a filmmaker.
Hmm.
Um, and it's just that like he's made all these like mob films and stuff, and then this one he's just showing how unglamorous it is,
Hmm.
and and um and like how these characters they don't end well, and like it's not really that exciting, not compared to like his other films.
Hmm.
It's just much more grounded, and so I kind of view it as like it's like as part of his whole collection of films, and it just seems like such a natural progression from the films he did make, like Goodfellas and Taxi Driver,
Hmm.
where he focuses on these violent and terrible people, and he just shows like over a long period of time, not just in one part of their life, over their whole life. To me, it just seems like a good way to round out his collection of movies, is to have one that's like that,
Hmm.
you know.
Yeah.
So as a movie on its own, no, it's not. It doesn't hold the. It's not as good as like Raging Bull
Yeah.
or anything like that. But if just when you're, because now I'm watching all of his films right now, so
For
I
work
just finished watching.
purposes?
No, just for fun,
Okay.
you know. Um, that'd be nice, but and so I'm about to start Silence, and
Hmm.
so I'm not sure how that one will go, but yeah, I kind of view them as like his body of work, and that just
Yeah.
seems like his gangster movie. That just seems like such a natural, like maybe final chapter. Hopefully not,
Hmm.
but
And
mm.
is there anything that you have seen, like on TV show wise? What's the latest TV show you've seen, you watch, or you're watching right now?
I'm watching Friday Night Lights right now.
Oh my
Um,
God! Clear eyes, full
it's
heart,
like
can't lose.
it's so good, and I
It
think I
is.
appreciate it more now that I live in an actual football town, like in Texas.
Hmm.
Like like I actually get it now. Um, so yeah, that show's great. It's
Yeah.
weird though that they keep like dropping like storylines, and like it's like when's that gonna come back again?
Yeah.
Like,
Who's your
but
favorite
yeah, no, it's
character?
so good. Probably Riggins.
Friggins. Of
I
course.
actually no. I take that back. Riggins is interesting, but actually my favorite character is Smash's mom.
Smash Small Nice.
She's like raising an entire family by herself,
Yeah,
and she works hard, and she's got this like kid who has like every reason to have a giant ego, but she's keeping him in check, you know?
yeah.
You got to respect a character like that.
Which season are you in right now?
What she's the what?
Which
Oh,
season?
season?
Yeah.
I'm still on season 2. I just started it.
Okay, but have you seen it before, or is it?
No, I hadn't seen it before.
Okay, then I'm not gonna spoil anything. That's why I just asked. Otherwise, I would have
Oh man,
said, "Oh, have you seen that?" Oh,
oh, thanks for checking. Oh man. Okay. All right. All right.
yeah, it's gonna be fun.
What's your favorite character?
It's hard to say. I love Smash because he was so much fun, but I really like Jesse Plemons' character,
Oh yeah.
which is really cool.
Hmm.
And I mean, there's gonna be a lot of development throughout.
Yeah. Yeah, I like how he went from Matt Saracen's friend to like his own character. Like that's really cool,
Yeah,
you know.
exactly. And by the way, Michael B. Jordan is going to show up.
No way. That's cool.
At some later point.
Oh man. Man, he's gonna bring some trouble, I feel like.
Could be.
He's gonna shake it up. Okay. Keep my eyes peeled.
All right, all right. Yeah, let me know when you're finished how you like it, okay?
Okay. All right. All right.
What are some must-see movies or TV shows that are going to come out soon? Is there anything you really looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to. There's a lot of things, but like let's see the big one that I'm looking forward to is Dune
Of course, it
by
is. Yeah.
Denis Villeneuve because I love his films. Arrival is one of my favorite movies.
Yeah.
But also on the topic of Scorsese, I read the book too. He's working on an adaptation of Killers of the Flower
Yep.
Moon, which the book is incredible. Hope, and I think he'll do a great job.
And I think
you know?
Leo is attached and Jesse Plemons is attached as well.
Who you meant? Yeah. So yeah, they'll make a good pair.
Yeah, and it's going to be exciting. Yeah, that's I'm looking forward to that as well. And Apple, I think Apple bought it, right? Was it Apple or Netflix? Somebody big bought it.
I think it's Apple, which I hope that means that we can watch it in theaters.
I hope so
Like,
too.
they're not going to make it exclusive. I hope not.
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, this is like an Oscar movie type of thing, so they probably.
I mean, sometimes that's not their choice, you know, especially
that's true.
these days.
That's true.
They might lose control of the movie.
Yeah, I mean, it's they have been problems in terms of like I think that's why, for example, Irishman went to Netflix because what had it before? I think Paramount. They said, Scorsese can't go over 3 hours. They didn't want to pay more, and then basically Scorsese said, well, I want to go over 3 hours, and then they said okay, and then they passed it off to Netflix.
That's interesting because he's such like an auteur that you think he would have wanted his movie to be seen in the intended format. Like, you know, he made that comment about Marvel films not being like cinema and stuff and all that. How do you weigh in on that?
I think what he says is not fully true because I really enjoy watching a Marvel movie and like being taken out and having fun with other people. I think it's a different kind of movie, but it can be also in some form artistic when you look at Black Panther, for example, and similar things, and making it like keeping together like 23 plus movies now and creating this serial type of movie thing is an achievement in itself. And I think that makes it worthwhile, even though, for example, Endgame is not the greatest movie in my opinion, but it rounds out this whole this whole arch, and I think that makes it very special and historical in my opinion.
Well, I mean, I sort of agree with him, but I don't think he meant it in a derogatory way. I think he just meant that he wasn't saying that they weren't real movies. He was just saying that, you know, they weren't cinema. And I think his definition of cinema is a movie where, like, you know, the exploration of like the human experience is the forefront,
Yeah.
and any action like flows from that naturally. like in his movies, he's not like thinking, oh, I'm gonna have this like fight scene, and they're gonna do this and all that, and you don't know what's gonna happen in his movies. Whereas in a Marvel movie, you know that Thor's not gonna die, you know that the bad guys are gonna lose. So there's a certain, and it's not a bad thing. It's just because I enjoy the Marvel movies too,
Yeah.
but it certainly limits them. It limits them in a creative way.
For me, it's also
To a
like
degree.
with bigger movies, when it comes to that, it's always hard because like since it's a financial economic decision these days, it's like always a very limited in terms of what you want to show, what is going to sell. It's like or even for example, looking at like bigger movies, looking at LGBTQ stuff, that they just gonna put it in a scene where it can be cut out for markets that don't want that.
Which is, yeah. I think the Marvel TV shows are closer to like the kind of cinema that Scorsese is talking about more than the movies are. And again, that's totally fine because he's like, he compares them to theme park rides, but who doesn't like going to the theme park and getting on a roller coaster?
Exactly.
It's fun. But you're not going to learn anything, and it's the illusion of risk. There's no real risk.
Yeah, it's some form of escapism in that regard.
Yeah, which is totally fine. But I think his comments were just misinterpreted.
Yeah.
It takes a tremendous amount of skill to make those Marvel movies.
Yeah,
like
and keeping them together, as you can see when you look at DC's side of things, for example. Yeah.
Man, see, they totally missed the point. Like in the DCEU, because Christopher Nolan's Batman films are cinematic because he creates the characters and he gives them traits, he gives them flaws, and then the actions, like the action scenes reflect the characters. Yeah. Like the Joker, the way he does an action scene versus Bane. Bane's is more direct. The Joker has all these twists and turns. Whether you like the movie or not, they're cinematic. And they mistook that for gritty realism, and then they just try to apply that to everything, and then just make the characters fall into that rather than let them happen normally. Like in the Snyder films, they totally missed the point of everything.
Yeah. But oh well, at least we get some very cool movies out of this like endeavor in terms of Marvel, and maybe some better stuff in the future from DC. But overall, I would also love. I also love watching more the Scorsese type of things. For me, the other stuff is entertainment. In the end, like having a good night out with like friends and stuff. But for example, I had the chance to see The Green Knight last week, but I can't talk about it or until end of July. So, but I can say that I had a good time, and it was different from what you would expect. And I think it's a great movie to look forward to.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. There's a lot of excitement around it.
I was really entertained, so I really had a good time. But I can't. I
it's also
love to see more.
Well, it's not that it's like A or B. Like an escapist movie can have cinematic elements, even though it's still mostly fun and entertaining. Yeah. Like in Endgame, the way I don't think I'm spoiling anything, but the way Tony Stark dies is very cinematic because it represents his entire arc as a character. So it has cinematic elements to it for sure. And then like the characters change, like the way Thor has changed,
Yeah.
So there are aspects that do focus on character a lot more than other action franchises. I could say that much.
But for example, you mentioned, by the way, the TV shows. Did you start watching Loki yet?
I have not.
It's really good. It's really good.
Okay. When I watch TV shows, I just like blast through them. So I prefer to let like a few episodes build up and then watch them all, because like I can't do the whole like watch it and then like I have to wait a week.
Yeah, I think we're halfway right now. I think there are 3 episodes out. I think there are only 6 or 7. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Somewhere around there. So.
I liked WandaVision.
Yeah. That was
and
cool.
Falcon Winter Soldier. It's okay. It's just more of a cut and dry kind of show. It's not fancy. It's not trying to be fancy.
But it had some good ideas, I'd say.
What's your favorite Marvel film?
Oof. I think I'll stick with like the first thing that pops in my head is Guardians of the Galaxy, maybe followed
First one or the second?
the first one,
Yeah.
followed closely by Thor Ragnarok.
Mm.
Also love a Black Panther
My
though.
favorite, yeah. I don't. My favorite, really quick, is Winter Soldier, followed by Guardians of the Galaxy Volume One.
Hmm.
My problem with Black Panther was like it felt really like the pacing or tonally was weird.
Okay.
Like everyone was for one thing, it seemed like, and Michael B. Jordan was brought in like very late in the production,
Hmm.
but it seemed like everyone was acting in one direction and he was acting in a different direction.
Mm.
Like, he had like a different, like he was in a different movie almost. And then it just didn't feel like they gave us enough time with Killmonger. I kind of wish that he had fought like Claw, because he was like,
Yeah,
with
I got you.
Ulysses Claw. So he's just a henchman. And I wish they had fought Claw and then defeated him at the end. And Killmonger was developing as a character, and he becomes like the big bad guy in
Mm.
number two. Now, in retrospect, that wouldn't have been a good idea because unfortunately Chadwick Boseman passed away. That wouldn't have
Yeah.
worked. But I just didn't get enough Killmonger to, make his death really mean it to
Maybe,
me.
yeah, I just want to say maybe he can come back, but yeah, he's dead.
Yeah.
But you never know.
He was such a good villain. He had
Yeah,
so much more potential than what they gave him.
yeah, would be interesting to like I don't know if there's a chance to get him back or something like that, but you never know.
I mean, no one ever seems to stay dead in those movies.
Exactly. Yeah, maybe somehow the snap gave the chance that he is alive again. Who knows? But yeah, so there's a lot of cool stuff in the future coming from that direction, and I wanted to know what is your favorite movie of all time? Is there something you really, really love to watch at least once or twice a year?
One of my favorite movies of all time is Denis Villeneuve's Arrival.
It's
I can watch that anytime, but my all-time favorite movie would have to be Amadeus, directed by Milos Forman.
Can you elaborate on that? I mean, I love that movie also, but I don't know if I could watch it like 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 my definition of favorite movie is I watch it a lot because I'm not a rewatch kind of guy, not anymore. I used to be like earlier, but like doing movie reviews and like talking about films. I always like watch them only once most of the time, maybe twice. And yeah, but I love that film. I think I've seen it 3 times or like over the years. But why is that your favorite movie?
I mean, there's movies that go deeper than that movie. There's movies that have better cinematography, that have maybe stronger acting performances, but very few movies have all of those elements
Hmm.
and are still fun. Like, it's just so fun. Like, it just kind of, like, from the moment like it starts playing, like it just feels like it has like a cohesive like rhythm to it.
Hmm.
um like, it's hard to explain like when actors don't have rhythm and when they don't. A show where actors had rhythm was the Marvelous Miss Maisel. Like,
Hmm.
this, you just feel like you're watching a song
Yeah.
happen. And then when they brought in an actor that wasn't part of that rhythm, that guy from that Chuck show who was in Shazam,
Yeah. Yeah.
like, he hadn't developed that rhythm. And then he kind of, every time he was in it, he was doing a good job, but he just ground everything to a halt because he just wasn't like hitting those beats. And everyone in Amadeus, from F. Murray Abraham,
Hmm.
Elizabeth Barrage, I think is her name, and Tom Hulse, they just kind of, just like the way they go back and forth, it just has this great, like, rhythmic quality to it. And the show, it just never feels like it's dead. Unfortunately, you can't see the theatrical cut anymore, which because in the cut that is now the official one,
Hmm.
um, like, it doesn't make his wife look that great. But in the theatrical one, it kind of shows like Salieri like pressuring her into like doing things.
Hmm.
So that was kind of unfortunate. But yeah, it's got great costumes, great visuals, the like dramatic lighting. prosthetics.
And it
You
won the
know,
Oscar,
there's
right?
just like everything.
In that
It won
year.
a lot of
Yeah.
Oscars. Yeah, yeah. So I mean, I watch it all the time. You know, I mean, like I like horror movies. I like um, like deep movies, like Stanley Kubrick films.
Hmm.
But when something's not fun, you don't want to watch it that often.
Yeah, of course.
When I'm feeling a little like stressed out, I just put on Amadeus and it just kind of makes everything feel good. So that's why it's my favorite movie.
You also made a poster for the movie. Was that
Yeah.
was is that the best thing you ever could? Because like like is it? Did you always wanted to do that, or was it something? Oh, I don't know. It's my favorite movie. I don't know if I can.
Well, I'm always surprised when people want like because I'm like I love Amadeus, but what's gonna sell is like Star Wars or Marvel stuff,
Hmm.
so people are not gonna hire me for Amadeus. And so Chris Jalufka from Evil Tender is a
Hmm.
big fan of opera and classical music, and he got
Yeah.
that going. Like he reached out and made the connections, and I just jumped on it as fast as I could, and it was great. And I'd just gotten back from a trip to Europe, and I went to some of the places that
Oh
are
yeah.
like in Vienna and stuff, and I
Hmm.
was able to use like the photos I took in the poster.
Awesome. That's really
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, like shooting your own reference pictures in Europe. That sounds like a fancy baller job.
Well, I didn't know I was doing it at the time. So like if I did, I would have taken a lot more photos like of certain things. I was just taking photos like that looks cool. And then coincidentally when I got back, he asked that and I was like, "Oh, I could totally do that."
That's awesome. And how do you like the regular poster for the for the movie? Is that to your satisfaction?
Oh man, the
The
regular
the key art,
poster
the key art.
is oh yeah, the theatrical one.
Hmm.
It's I love it. I mean, it's so bold. It's just like, and I like that it's illustrated
Hmm.
too. And man, like it's just like so ominous.
W- would you ever do like a different approach to your version, or like if you would do it again?
Um, um, I mean, I'm pretty happy with what I did.
All right.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's one of the few posters where I don't like feel the moment I'm done with the poster, I immediately start seeing ways I could have improved it.
Hmm.
And I just had a lot of fun on that one.
Okay, that's great.
So
Yeah.
it's not really any. The original poster though was done by a Czech illustrator, Peter Sis,
Hmm.
who's also accomplished children's book author. Um, yeah, for the theatrical one. So that one was pretty cool
Mm.
too. And I remember when I was working on the original, I was kind of like, he's kind of hit all the main elements. All I can really do is just kind of rearrange his poster and change and add a few things. But I was like, he kind of summed up like the whole film in one poster. It was a really great poster.
Mm.
Mhm.
Alrighty. Speaking of posters, what are your three favorite posters as of right now? It could be anything from alternative movie poster, gig posters, key art, whatever you're really into right now.
Three. The first, uh, Milton Glazer's Dylan poster has always been my favorite poster. It's, for Bob Dylan.
Hmm.
It's just like so simple and well executed, and it kind of just has like a universal kind of connection. Um, you don't have to know anything about Bob Dylan, and you just take one look at that poster, and you could guess certain things about him, that he's creative, that he's a free thinker,
Hmm.
that he's just different from anyone else who's ever like like been on the planet. And yeah, when a poster can accomplish that in such a simple way, it's a very successful poster. It's iconic.
Do you have that?
And I mean, I don't, if I had that, I wouldn't have to ever work again. You know, if I had the original.
Yeah.
No, I don't have it up. I guess I could get like a reproduction of it, but I don't know. It's one of those like I don't know. We'll see.
All right.
Like it might be it's too intimidating to have to look at it every day.
Yeah. Okay.
Um, And then I like Philip Gibbs's Downhill Racer. It's for the movie Downhill Racer with Robert Redford.
Yeah.
Um, I love the design. Like it just grabs you and it doesn't let go. Like he also did posters for Alien and Rosemary's Baby, which is kind of similar concept, giant faces in the background.
Mm.
But oh, and he also designed the ESPN logo,
He
the
did?
current
Okay,
one.
it's interesting.
Yeah. And but anyway, that poster is just great, man. Like it just gives you like this breathtaking feeling.
Yeah.
And another poster I like is and actually I just like this artist in general is Philip Castle. He did the poster for Full Metal Jacket.
Mm-hmm.
For a lot of the same reasons that I like the Dylan poster. It's just such a quick, bold, strong image, and you don't have to know anything about the movie, and then you just look at it
Mm-hmm.
and you see the peace sign, and you know that that it's gonna have like these kinds of ideas in it.
Yeah.
And he also did the Clockwork Orange poster.
Mm-hmm.
And if you ever get a chance, look at all the other. I'll send you a link. All the other drawings and concepts he did for Clockwork Orange. They're so freaking weird.
I have seen a lot of them because I
Yeah.
went to there was like an exhibition in London in the Design Museum, like a Kubrick exhibition with all posters and like props and stuff like that, and they had a lot of the posters there, and yeah, obviously the Saul Bass stuff and but also Philip Castle,
Yeah.
so that was like really interesting to see.
That's cool. Yeah, I saw that exhibit when it was in Los Angeles,
Mm-hmm.
the Kubrick exhibit. Yeah.
Little fun bridge. I can tell you a little story here. Friend of mine,
Yeah.
Mexifunk, Orlando Orsina. I don't know if you know him.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know him or not?
I know the work. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So, because he did a Rogue One poster in that style, by the way. For he put the Rebel helmet in there and had it like in a very cool, very
Oh, that's cool.
same style as the Full Metal Jacket one, the Philip Castle one, and yeah, that looks awesome. And but funny thing is, he was when he was like starting out, he's from New York, and he was in a studio with the like beat producer in a music studio, and this guy got a call, and they were talking blah blah blah, and then he was and then on the phone, and then his friend was saying, hey, here's this guy, he wants to talk to you. So he hands him the phone. He doesn't know who's calling, and then he talks blah blah blah, and then they're talking like, yeah, I want this and that, and then I want to make my movie set. I wanna have it look like New York. So
Okay.
they're hanging up, and then he's asking, yo, who did I talk to? And he was calling from London, and then he found out that he was on the phone with Stanley Kubrick.
What?
Yep.
Oh my God. Wow.
That was crazy. That was really crazy. So he like told him how to make London look more like New York, because they were looking for artists and people like to spice it up and like make it look actually real when they were filming in London.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's some
Man.
crazy stuff. You could if you want to like, because like Orlando is like a really good storyteller. We had like he's up to now he has the longest running podcast on the show here. It was like 3 hours, and he has like millions of those stories in the podcast. So if you have some time, if you want to listen to some good stories, go check that one out. It's like it's like a lot of fun, and like there's also a good Mark Hamill story in there, because
Oh.
he was working for Warner Brothers for the animation studio, and they were selling like those original drawings for the Batman the Animated Series, like the cells.
That's cool.
And there's this guy calling in every other week, putting on the Joker voice and talking to him, because he wants some cells, you know. And it was Mark Hamill the whole time calling him every other week and like trying to get like the cells to collect them. So yeah,
Oh man.
that's some good
Yeah.
stories, I'm telling you.
All right, I'll check that out.
Alrighty. Where are we? There you go. Do you want to like make like a poster for those movies, or your own, or is it just too intimidating?
For which oh, the ones
The ones we just
for
talked
which
about.
ones? Yeah, when I do better when I make a poster for an older movie that I've had a chance to like watch and digest over and
Yeah.
over again. Um, versus like a new movie. Usually those ones are just kind of like, here's this scene, here's that scene, here's this guy who was in the movie. It's like a collage. So yeah, I'd like that. I think because I've just watched them so much, and I naturally just come up with visuals that would work, that keep resonating with me. That's kind of how some of my better posters came about. I just watched the movie so much that when I got handed the job, I just ran with it.
Okay. And yeah, what is your opinion, by the way, on galleries in that regard? Do you like working with galleries in terms of unlicensed stuff, or do you like rather like do key art like directly for studios or something like that?
You mean like physical galleries, or just these like poster businesses that are?
Let's look at the poster businesses, like the online businesses and this kind of
Oh,
thing.
okay. I mean, I think they're great. They're giving artists jobs and getting them exposures. As long as they're giving the artists a good deal, and putting out good work, or at least more interesting work. Yeah, I don't. As long as they're doing things right, I don't have any issue with them. I think they're great.
And do you collect as well in that regard? Are you like, I don't know, do you have like the Mondo hotline and you can get a print if you want to, or Black Dragon Press hotline?
Yeah, I used to collect a lot more. I haven't bought a poster in a while now. Just kind of running out of room.
Oh, okay, I get that.
But because like if they're just sitting in the flat file, then I feel kind of bad, like that I'm not looking at them all the time. But yeah, these days I collect art prints a lot more because I want to support like an artist and all that, and that's kind of what I've been trying to push myself into. But then you got to pay the bills, so you keep doing the movie stuff.
Yeah.
Not that I don't enjoy it. Movies are my passion, but everyone wants to explore like different areas.
What was like, or what kind of like maybe grail pieces do you have in your collection?
My favorite poster that I own is probably The Fly by We Buy Your Kids,
Okay.
Sonny and Biddy. They're in Australia.
Yeah.
I just love that poster for the same reasons that I talked about liking other posters. It's just quick, bold, strong, Yeah, that's my favorite one.
Yeah, I'll give you a little tease here because I'm going to talk to them soon and like interview them for the same purpose we're doing right now. And yeah, I will ask them about The Fly for you and like have all the details.
Yeah. What's your grail piece?
Oh, it's hard to say. I actually,
or one that you like a lot.
I mean, since I rotate them, I have to say, like, I would say like 45-50% of my collection are Star Wars pieces. So that's a lot. But I also have different ones, and lately I just got an AP version of the Matt Griffin Dune print, which is for the 84 movie, which is really amazing. I love the casino behind me. I love the 3PO, of course. Which is great. I really love the Captain America by Phantom City Creative. I am really fond of the behind me here, the AJ Freyna pieces. Like she has, I don't know if maybe not she, but the artist has like a very interesting style, like. Especially like on the pieces I have, there's like the Blade Runner with the owl, and then looking at the dragon in Spirited Away, it is like the fur looks so soft. It's like really incredible how that is drawn. And yeah, the Pablo Oliveira landscapes are great. And yeah, so there's a lot of good ones. And a couple coming soon. And I'm looking very, very much forward to the Dersu Uzala by you. And yeah, having that in hand, and that's going to be amazing. So there's a bunch of the really cool ones, and as I mentioned before, I'm changing it out like every 3 to 4 months and try to get a new theme in. Before I had a very like at the old apartment, I had a black and red theme, so I had only black and red prints up. So, and like I try to like mix it up in color. Like right now it's also like going from blue to like a reddish colors, and then like that's how the setup is right now. That's why also like the Ragnarok prints by Gabs, that's why they are like so similar. Or looking at the Phantom City Creative and the Casino by Jake Cantu, that exactly the faces are cut off at the same point. So that's like kind of like worked out really well. So it's like really cool. Like I like to try to like have this theme of things.
It's a lot of work to change out all those posters.
Indeed it is, my friend. I can tell you that. And I didn't do that for the new apartment yet, but I have for my wall. I used to have a Illustrator file with all the posters I own, like resized, and they are like in there. And like I gave them frames as well, so they are like so I can basically plug and play with those frames and put them on the wall, and I know how the layout is going to look.
Have you ever seen like those front-loading frames, so you can just
but they're super expensive, and I didn't find them in Germany yet. I would love to have those. I have them. I have this one light box, and that's front-loading, and it's amazing. Would love to have that as well for all the frames I have. And these ones went up, by the way, because I couldn't do this kind of setup again, because I don't have, for example, a lot of 18 by 36 pieces. So I would have to take them off and change the layout completely. And I put them up with like heavy duty Velcro, so they are like sticking to the wall.
Wow. I get my front loading frames that I use like at my booth when I do events from Spotlight Displays. I don't know if they'll ship to Berlin, but worth checking out.
Yeah,
Spotlight Displays.
I checked all over the internet to like have them for a reasonable price, and then they have only like really ugly ones, not black ones, for example. Like, and that's like it's like really hard to get. But I will look into that and see maybe that works out.
Yeah.
Alrighty, where was I? We talked about your collection, and I was wondering, what's the last piece of art or poster that you put up? Is there anything that you got?
I put up Richie Beckett's one of his art prints. I'm not entirely sure what it's called, but it's beautiful. It's like kind of an under the sea image, and I put it on my fireplace. Yeah.
Okay.
Above my fireplace, and not in the fireplace.
Put in the fireplace.
There you go. No.
How's it in your house? Do you like I don't know, is there a certain theme that is going on, and do you design everything, or that goes up?
No, I've never wanted to put my own artwork up. I just spent so much time looking at it while I was designing it. I don't need it to be up anymore.
I meant with designing like the decor. Do you like do that and like do layouts or certain places that this piece, the Richie Beckett piece, has to go over the fireplace?
I try to put like the pieces that I think like look the best and inspire me the most, like where I would see them most often. Like a lot of times people like will approach me and apologize, like, hey, I'm sorry, this might sound weird, but your poster is in our bathroom. And I'm like, that's actually great, because then you're going to see it every day. Like that's like the best spot in the house.
Yeah, I always have a piece up in the guest bathroom, which is I have right now. I have the emblem-esque like little like icons. Matt Ferguson and Foray did for the emblem-esque show 2 years ago. And that's just, you have some information as well in the bathroom if you like want to read something.
Yeah, so it's like reading.
I used to have like a Jaws infographic on there, like about sharks. That was.
So was it about Jaws, or was it about sharks?
It was for Jaws. It was basically it's also from Matt Ferguson and Foray, and they did like. I think it's titled "Everything You Heard About Sharks or about great white sharks is true," and then they have like they have Bruce there, and then have like a cage in the water as well, and then there's like little lines point off that their teeth are like they coming back, and they are like this tall, and they can do this and that and stuff like that. So it's like really fun.
They made a documentary about Jaws, like the shark is still working or something like that, and they just show like Bruce, and they talk about like how troublesome it was to shoot that movie.
Yeah.
That's like a movie in and of itself almost.
One more question on your home. What does your workspace look like? Is there do you have like I don't know, is it like a super clean desk, or do you work more like mechanical in terms of like actually drawing, or is it all digital?
Well, my workspace is actually pretty minimal. It's just a folding table, like a 6-foot long folding table, and I've got a computer on one side, and I've got a wood board on the other side for drawing. I'm starting to get back into drawing by hand again.
Okay.
Still not totally comfortable with it. It's like killing my arm. So it's not something I could really, I think I'll do drawing for like my own art prints, like hand drawing.
Did you do that, by the way? Did you do that when you were in university, hand drawn stuff, or was it already then digital?
I was doing both. They were teaching me both. And I was still doing mostly hand drawing, but then once I started doing these bigger posters, there's just not really a good way to draw something like and make changes to it. And you got to work so big, so I switched almost completely to digital.
Yeah.
But I still like hand drawing. I wish I could get back into it more.
That's why I was smirking a little bit, because I was just thinking of Greg Ruth, who's doing everything like, and since we were talking about Jaws, did you see his Jaws like the Bruce one he did like lately?
No, I didn't see it.
I think it was he did for a private commission. Oh no, it was for his 52 weeks series he always does every year. And like it's like this time is Mr. and Mrs. themed, and then you have Brody and Bruce like going together, and Bruce looks so amazing. I wrote like under his post, I commented, we should get that on a t-shirt. I want one now.
Oh man, yeah, his stuff is great. I love the Twin Peaks stuff he did.
Yeah. And I was like, I always like, he was like, when he's drawing, like hand drawing, like smoke and flames and stuff like that, that looks so good. That looks so incredible. I was like, if I ever do a private commission, I just want, hey, just draw me some flames and smoke, and I'm good. It doesn't have to be themed. But yeah, so yeah, he's a great artist. I really enjoy his work. I got his Thanos right up here. He's like,
oh, cool.
Speaking of work and your desk, is there anything you're working on right now you can talk about?
I can't say what it is exactly,
okay.
But I'm working with the studio for once instead of a licenser.
Awesome.
For a big movie that's coming out soon, and I'm also doing some package design and labels, which I always like doing. And book covers.
So a lot of work in different fields. I mean, at least you have some, like, it's all not always the same.
Yeah, I kind of like switching it up. After, posters are fun, but after a while, you just kind of want to try something different. Plus, my computer is starting to get really old, and these big posters are taking up way too many gigabytes of space.
Yeah, indeed they do. I always hear like about other artists like say there's like I got my 5 gigabyte file right here, and stuff like that. So it's like that's a big file.
Like the artists that work in Vector, I'm so jealous of them. Like they do like simple like graphics. I mean, it's really good stuff when they do it right, and their files are so small, and I'm like, I'm so jealous.
Yeah, I totally get that. And how's your approach to your projects? Is there different approaches when it comes to movie posters or packaging design, or do you have like a same kind of approach to your work? Well,
my approach has changed. I used to have like like an approach where it's like, all right, here are all the ideas,
Mm.
and I'm gonna try to put like represent each one of those ideas in a way. So the posters were almost always going to be a collage of
Mm.
some kind. And now I've been moving away from that, and kind of like that wood I was talking about, where you're whittling wood. It's like just cut away the ideas and get to the feeling, and try to communicate a feeling,
Mm.
and allow ideas to come off of that naturally. So if people look at it and they get the feeling, and then they come up with the idea, and usually if you did a good job, it'll be the idea that you want,
Mm.
um, or that it'll be the same idea as yours. And so yeah, I'll watch something, or I'll think about it over and over again, and just think, how does it make me feel, and how can I communicate that feeling in the simplest, most direct way.
Mm. And did you sketch it in a sketchbook before, or do you just go straight to the I don't know, or you work with an iPad first, or what's the deal?
This is probably the worst way to work. Um, like I wish because other artists will post their sketches, and I'm like, oh, I like how they did it so simple, and then they figured out which one was the best idea, and then they just tightened
Mm.
that idea up and kept improving it. I kind of start with the final, and I start removing things.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Interesting.
so, like not the final, but I'll draw it very tight,
Huh.
like the line art's like almost ready to go, like so I can visualize it
Mm-hmm.
better, and then I just start taking like things. So a lot of times I'm throwing away drawings I drew. Just you know,
Interesting.
I don't know why my mind just works that way.
Don't throw
Like
them
it's I
away.
wish.
You can send them my way. I'll take some OGs.
Man,
And do you have like when it comes to prints, like printing your artwork, is there something like you really like in terms of paper and color? Is there something you really love to do, or do you just always go different?
I mean, I love using like French paper. Like
Mm-hmm.
their colors are so great, but when it's appropriate, I like to use paper that will heighten the feeling, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so one thing is like everyone's asking me to do foils all the time, and I kind of it's not always appropriate. Like a
Yeah.
Dursuazala foil would be ridiculous and
Yeah.
stupid and unnecessary, but so that's kind of what everyone wants, it seems like, and I hope I do it sometimes when it's appropriate,
Mm-hmm.
like for like a 2001 Space Odyssey, if they're going
Yeah.
through the Stargate, yeah, sure, that works. That's a great idea, but I don't know if everything needs it.
Yeah.
So only when it's appropriate. But I love using metallic inks a lot.
Yeah. I totally get that with the
Mhm.
foil. I'm not that big on foil because like it has to have it doesn't have to be a gimmick. It has to have its
Yeah,
purpose, and like for me, like I always go back to that. Is still one of the best ideas of or usage of foil was for the Dolly Lord of the Rings one, where the ring was the foil obviously, and it actually looked
mhm,
like a ring on the poster, and it's like it was really, really cool.
yeah.
Great idea of using the foil there.
You know what? I kind of do almost like using foil, but if it was completely covered up,
Mm-hmm.
so you don't actually see the foil, because there's two things that are happening. Is the ink is not completely opaque, it's slightly transparent.
Mm-hmm.
So it does give a nice shimmer effect. I did
Yeah.
it with a Pixies poster that I did.
Okay.
So even if you completely cover up the foil, it still has like a very
Mm-hmm.
subdued, kind of like a beetle when you're looking at a beetle's shell.
Mm-hmm.
And then any kind of coated paper, because what happens is like it's like when you put a Sharpie marker on a paper towel, it
Yeah.
spreads, and so your lines aren't very. The first line that they put on the paper is like the edges, like the taper, how sharp it is.
Yeah.
It gets dulled a little bit. Whereas if you do it on coated paper, it goes on really sharp, and every one after that is sharp.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like so on when I screen print stuff, I have them coat the entire paper first in ink, because then
Oh,
the
okay.
layers on top of that don't bleed as much and they stay sharp. So I almost never have them print real details directly onto the paper.
Ah, okay.
But with holographic paper or any kind of coated paper, you don't have to do that. You just go right on, and
Mm.
it's like crisp, really crisp lines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. That's interesting. I mean, that's I think that's what the nerds want to know. It's like, I don't know.
Oh, well, and then
My friend James, he's like, for me, he's the paper nerd because he has he runs the Moore Art Gallery in England, and yeah, and he knows a lot about paper now. And like always when we do like the release podcast with like what has been coming out like the last couple of weeks, we always talk about paper as well when it comes up, and he knows all that stuff. And and I know there's some other paper nerds out there, so that's cool. What would you say was the most challenging project that you've been working on in terms of, I don't know, getting an idea or something, or what would you consider as hard?
I mean, there have been a lot of challenges, like creatively. Just the one that's fresh in my mind was actually the Dursu Ozala, because we talked about it, like how my normal approach was, and that just didn't feel appropriate for that movie. It didn't feel like it would do it justice, and I had to kind of unlearn a lot of what I normally do and keep the image like simple. I mean, it was really detailed because I wanted to emulate like the dense like undiscovered landscape that they're in.
Yeah.
But then it also needed to feel open at the same time, and that wouldn't have felt open if it was crowded with all these different scenes and people's faces and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that was really tough. Doing less is harder than doing more.
Okay.
It's so counterintuitive, but it's true.
Alrighty. Is there anything in the future that you like? Is there an IP or an idea you would like to work on, and when it comes to music, sports, or movies?
For sports, I always felt like I would want to do like a curling poster.
Curling poster, okay.
Yeah, where they got the brooms that are just like hitting the. I don't know, like.
Do it for the curling World Cup.
It's one of the only sports, like where, like they show you like a close up of the guys' faces and they're just like really intense, like. And then the reactions, like when they lose or when they win, like these guys are serious. Anyway, I think that deserves. Everything else is getting lots of attention. I always want to do the thing that, not that the unsung heroes. I like that stuff.
Yeah. I like
movie
that.
wise,
I want to see a Kevin Tong curling poster.
Right. Those guys need a poster. But movie wise, I think Akira would be fun. Like the animated one.
Yeah.
Or doing a poster for the comics, the manga, whatever. And yeah, I don't know. There's just a lot that I'd love to do a poster for. There's just way too much. Yeah.
All right, people, you heard here first. Yeah, the man is busy. I know that, but maybe we can get him some more jobs that we also would love to see. Now we come to my favorite question of the show. Is this has been an idea, and we have to talk about it afterwards a little bit more, because this kind of question is about to turn into a book, into an art book. And the question is, which classical artist or fine artist would you like to see make a film poster, and which movie or franchise would it be?
By classical, do you just mean like Western or like old school artists?
I go with anything.
Historic? Okay. Okay. I would like to see Hieronymus Bosch do a series of posters for the Fast and the Furious trilogy.
All right, that sounds awesome to me. I want to see that now as well.
It's going to be so weird. It's going to be like those Ghana movie posters, like almost.
Yeah, or like those Polish ones that are totally different.
Yeah, like the Star Wars has some great Polish ones, like where like Darth Vader's face is like deteriorating into like the Death Star. Yeah, I love Polish posters.
Yeah, they're great. So yeah, but that's a great idea. I want to see now Hieronymus Bosch do a Fast and Furious poster. Is it you giving me like an example piece for Hieronymus Bosch? Is it I'm seeing right now on there the Vin Diesel's hat like being in there, and then a car coming out of his mouth and stuff like that. So well,
yeah, like it would be like half of like Vin Diesel's body ends at the torso, and all the characters are driving out of his body. And
That's
And I
awesome.
don't know who else is in the new one. Like and
John
John
Cena.
Cena is
Yeah.
John Cena is like melting like in the background. That's
Amazing.
Hieronymus Bosch fast F9 poster. Yep.
Yeah. Hieronymus 9.
It's what the world needs right now.
Exactly. That's a great answer. Really love that. And yeah, we're almost done with the interview. But before I let you go, I have a last question for you. One is by me because I forgot to ask that earlier on. Tragic
Sure.
Sunshine. Where is it handle coming
Uh,
from?
oh boy, this is so embarrassing. Um, in high school and college, I was that guy that was just listening to all the emo bands and
Uh-huh.
and stuff like that. And you know, and so when I had to think of the website, I was like, what's like the saddest like thing I could think of? And I was like, when sunshine is tragic, that's pretty sad. Like, I don't know. And so I just needed something. So I thought of it in one day
Hmm.
just so I can get my portfolio together and have a website to link
Yeah.
to. But you know, what was interesting
Got
was
stuck.
I couldn't afford to host a website, like to buy one.
Yeah.
I really had didn't have a lot of money, and the Republic of Nairobi was offering free web hosting.
There you go.
So you had to like do the it was like tragicsunshine.co.na or NR or whatever.
Hmm.
And so my website was hosted by the Public of Nairobi for the first 2 years until I could get a real website,
That's interesting. Yeah,
like
that's a fun fact right
.com.
there.
And that actually that the CO whatever it actually does appear on some of my first posters,
Wow, that's crazy.
like at the bottom. Like,
Awesome.
yeah,
But
come a
yeah.
long way.
But do you have any tips for beginners? Speaking of early starts, do you have any tips for beginners when it comes maybe to hardware, software, utensils, or social media? Is there anything you want to let the people know?
Um, I mean, for software, I mean, I just use I like using Clip Studio. I often draw in Clip Studio, which used to be called Manga Studio, and then I use Photoshop to convert it to screen printing because Clip Studio is more like intuitive and feels more natural. Photoshop's more like an information programming kind of type, like it looks
Hmm.
more like software. Um, I would say for tips, oh, and then I use a Cintiq like tablet monitor that I'm drawing on. It's pretty standard stuff. The iPad, unfortunately, the current iPad Pro
The
is not
M1?
powerful enough to, yeah, it's not powerful enough to do a poster if because like I use like hundreds of layers
Hmm.
and I have like all sorts of layer masks and stuff. It's just too slow. I mean, it's getting so hot that you could like cook like an egg on it, sometimes.
Yeah.
So I use it for smaller things, but not for like a movie poster. Tips, I would say like, do what's exciting. Because, if you start getting lots of work,
Yeah.
um, pick ones that you can be passionate about because it shows in the end result. And that's what people are trying to hire you for. They want to add your personality and your passion to what they're doing. And so if you produce work that doesn't have that, it's not going to attract other people. Like when people buy your work, they want to take your personality and your passion, put it in their house. If you just do generic stuff, then it's always just you could be replaced by someone else who's also doing that same like generic thing. So you have to, find a way that can make you different, and that's usually going to be passion, which involves, you personally, um, and just be comfortable with self-promoting. Um, like going to events and trade shows with a portfolio or eventually having a booth there because you could be like the best artist in the world and I'm sure that there's someone out there who is the best artist like they're probably but they're just working at some shop or something and they just do those drawings in their spare time but they're just sitting there undiscovered and that's fine but I'm just saying if your goal is to do this kind of work you need to be comfortable with putting it out there while also developing your skills and just connecting with people in the industry. Like
Hmm.
that's how I got started was at Comic Con.
All right. Thank you so much for those valuable tips. I hope a lot of people there's like always like a watched section, like the tips section basically, and like how other people have maybe some ideas that can help them out with that. And now I want to give you the chance to first of all tell people where they can find you, and on the second note, you can give some shout outs to fellow artists, friends, family, whoever you want to. The stage is all yours.
Oh, thank you. You can find me on my website, which we've talked about, is tragicsunshine.com. It's no longer code dot Nairobi or whatever. My Instagram and Twitter handles are at Tragic Sunshine. Shout outs. I've been working on a comic book series lately called Eat the Rich. I do the covers with Boom Comics, and the interiors are done by Pius Bach, Piusbak, and I love his work. Like the figures are so loose, like they really do feel alive, like they could be really moving, and just excellent use of blacks, like just blacking in, it creates such a tonal mood. I like Charlotte Day's work. She's a UK illustrator. It's like botanical and nature illustrations, like almost scientific looking, but great colors and really good design aesthetic. It's something I've always wanted to do for myself, but I've never been able to get that off the ground, like scientific and like botanical illustrations. I'm always giving shout outs to Ken Taylor. I mean, what else can I say, dude? That guy constantly puts out great work. Like, he has great drawings and great design. Because, a lot of people draw and they don't have good design skills. They have good design skills, not good drawing. He's got both, in abundance. Package. And then in terms of fine art, I really like Jeremy Anicio right now. He's an amazing illustrator, but his pencil drawings are so good. They're both fun and terrifying, like creepy, and that like he just masters that medium so well. And lastly, Joao Ruiz is like one of my all-time favorite artists. Like,
yeah, he's a cool dude.
I've seen his work in person. It's just incredible. Like, I could look at it forever. He just uses mixed media so well, and I just love how he chooses like which areas to be simple and which areas to be more detailed, and it just works like so well. Yeah.
Alrighty, then thank you so much for spending this interview with us and giving a detailed look into your work and into your thought process. We really appreciate it, and love to see you maybe in an upcoming show in the future.
Sure.
When you have another release, we can talk about that in detail. And can't wait to get the Dersu and put that on the poster unboxing episodes I always do from time to time when I get some new artwork. So that will be coming up soon. And thank you so much, Kevin. It's been really a pleasure talking to you. I really had a good time. And LBC, baby.
LBC.
All right, take care. Bye-bye.
Later.